2023 has been packed full of video game releases, and I haven't had the time to play them all, and I haven't had the time to review them all. I would like to review more games if I had more spare time, but I've just got a top 10 list for you all of games that I think that are worth checking out this year. There are good and bad games released this year. That's the same with every year, but it depends on everybody's tastes and they're all different. So I'm going to get the games I haven't got around to yet this year out of the way, and it's probably games that I'm going to wait until next year to play them. The first one is Spider-Man 2. I haven't got much interest in Spider-Man 2, but I'll probably wait until it comes on PC and wait until it comes on sale. I'm not too interested in it. The first two Spider-Man games on PlayStation were okay, but for me personally, they were not anything to write home about. Another one is Alan Wake 2. I have never played Alan Wake 1. I'm actually in the middle of playing it right now, and depending on how my playthrough goes on that one, I might check Alan Wake 2 out. So before I get into the top 10, I'm going to start with two games that I've tried that I still need to finish, but I'm struggling to finish them because the fun factor wore off. Now the first one is going to be Starfield.
Are you serious?
Starfield is a massive game and I need a lot of time to put into it. It's not that I have no love for the game, it's just that I need to put a lot more time into it. And there's some other games that pulled me away from it because the releases of games this year has been absolutely insane. Bethesda's games are not normally my favourite kind of genre, but some people may like them more than me. Starfield is definitely one I'm going to continue in the future, but it's probably going to have to wait until I finish my backlog of games. And the second one there is Lords of the Fallen, the 2023 Lords of the Fallen that is. I wanted to love this game so much, but it falls off at the end. At the end of the game, it just stops being fun. The first half of the game is great. I think the two worlds thing they created was great. I think the weapon choices are great, the armor sets are great, but not everything in the game is actually worth your time. Towards the end of the game, like the gank squads that just want to destroy you every corner you turn, and it really isn't fun. I would like to go more in depth about Lords of the Fallen, but I will end up finishing the game and then have my final thoughts on it in the end. So to go on with the top 10 of games that I think are worth playing this year, at number 10 I'm putting Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty DLC. Now the Phantom Liberty DLC is a great story all on of its own. I love The Witcher 3 storytelling in their DLCs, and CD Projekt Red didn't disappoint. Now Cyberpunk has had a massive boost in the 2.0 update this year, and I think it's definitely worth playing now in 2023. It's a shame that CD Projekt Red couldn't make this game great from when it was initially released. The story you play out is an actual really good story. I got one ending, I still need to go for another ending. Same with the main game. I still need to do the other possible endings in the game. But if you enjoyed Cyberpunk overall, I think the Cyberpunk DLC is definitely worth your time, and the entry price wasn't that bad. At number 9, I have the Resident Evil 4 remake. I didn't enjoy the original Resident Evil 4. I think the controls were horrible, and I didn't struggle to play it, but I couldn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to. But in the remake, they fixed everything that was wrong with the original, plus added more onto the game. And I feel that the Resident Evil 4 remake is definitely worth picking up. I got it on sale and I just recently finished it, plus the DLC, and it is definitely worth your time. And I hope this Resident Evil series can uphold this level of good game quality in the future. At number 8, I have the Dead Space remake. Now I know these last two games are remakes, but they did come out this year and they are definitely worth playing. The original Dead Space was a masterpiece in my opinion. I not long played that myself, and I think the remake actually makes that experience so much better. The sound design, the atmosphere they created, the lighting, everything inside that game is actually fantastic, and they made it a lot scarier than the original one. At number 7, I'm going for Mario Wonder. Now Mario Wonder is a game I wasn't interested in until I saw some videos being shared around on Twitter/X. Mario Wonder is just pure fun. Yes, you could say it's a kids game, but as a kids game, it's absolutely 100% fun. There's no padding, there's no story tied to it. Well, a little bit of a story, but nothing to write home about. But all the gameplay is fantastic. You can't go wrong when the gameplay is that good. It keeps me coming back and retrying the levels, see if I can actually do them faster. It's a speedrunner's dream. So Mario Wonder definitely deserves a spot on my list. At number 6 is Trepang 2. A Trepang 2 I was looking forward to for quite a while. As soon as a content creator mentioned it, I saw the violence and gore in that game. The story is not interesting at all in Trepang 2, but the gameplay is just balls to the wall, insane fun with a ridiculous amount of violence, and it's just fast paced, and the best way to play it is on mouse and keyboard. Every game on this list I have played on PC except for Mario Wonder. Trepang 2 is definitely worth your time, especially if you've played the original Fear game. It's that fast paced first person shooter combat that I have been looking for in a game for quite a while. At number 5 I have Blasphemous 2. I really loved Blasphemous 1 when it came out, but Blasphemous 2 expanded on that experience a lot by a massive margin. Blasphemous 2 was fun from beginning to end, lots of little secrets to find. The boss fights, I can argue some of the boss fights aren't as good as the first one, but the final boss made me mauled so much, and it took me time to learn that boss's pattern. To actually beat him must have taken me over 30 attempts. I like that kind of experience in the game where I actually have to learn how to beat the boss fight. Blasphemous 2 definitely deserves a spot on anybody's game library, and it's not a full price game, and it's an indie game, actually fantastic to play and worth your time. At number 4 I have Ghost Runner 2. Again, this is a sequel. Ghost Runner 1 was an actual fun game. In the beginning I actually hated it because the one-shot mechanic had me seething and I didn't understand the game, but once I started to understand the game, and when the aim of the game is to see how fast and creative you can go around the level, destroy all the enemies, and see how smoothly you can do it in such a short amount of time. Once the game clicked with me, I absolutely loved it. Played the first one to the end. I am halfway through the second one now. I am actually having a blast with it. Ghost Runner 2 is actually fun, and they expand on the experience from the first game. Again, not another full price game. Ghost Runner 2 definitely worth your time. At number 3 I have Remnant 2. Now here goes my Souls-like bias. Remnant 2 is fun from start to finish. It's a really punishing game. The only complaint I could probably have with Remnant 2, depends on your class, you can be very, very squishy. Enemies can kill you in 2 to 3 hits, and the healing mechanic is a bit punishing and very slow to pull off. But once you get to grips with how the healing mechanic works, and that you need to create distance between you and the enemies, the game is super fun, the levels are creative. Remnant 2 again is one of those games, a Souls-like shooter you can call it. I don't like when everyone pits every game as a Souls-like these days, but the developers themselves have even said that they're not hiding from the fact that it is a Souls-like with guns. Plus the melee combat's really good in it too, and the combat is really tight, something I like a lot. Very enjoyable experience, definitely worth your time. The only other bad thing about the game, I would say the PC port was not the best, so for guys that have got a lower end PC, the experience could be diminished just by that factor alone, but nonetheless, just as gameplay alone, Remnant 2 is definitely worth a spot on anyone's top 10 list. At number 2, this was a hard decision, but the factors that I'm going to put into it will say why this didn't get number 1, which is Lies of P. Lies of P is a masterpiece in its own right. I know it's a Souls-like through and through, and the developers definitely didn't hide that. They modelled this game around all the Souls games and came up with their own little recipe. I love the combat mechanics in Lies of P. I like the perfect guard system. I like the guard break system. The level design was actually great. Really linear, I suppose, is one complaint, but it was really well done. It's more like how Dark Souls 3 was structured. Pretty linear, with some off-beaten paths. I think the only place Lies of P falls off is towards the end of the game. The last stage, or level as you would like to call it, drags on a bit too long. It could have been half its size, but all the boss fights are fun, really difficult to learn, but there is a summon system like you get in most Souls games, which is just an AI summon, which can help you along with the boss fights. The throwable items are unbelievably overpowered. I think you are meant to use them. I like the weapon system where you can swap the handles with the blades. It makes the game its own unique kind of Souls-like, but nevertheless you can tell where its roots came from. Lies of P only misses out of being in the top spot just because the last level, so to speak, drags on a bit too long. But other than that, the PC performance was absolutely phenomenal. Even though it's an Unreal Engine 4 game, they learned how to get this game running perfectly on most systems. I didn't hear one complaint about how Lies of P ran on anybody's system. even on consoles, ran perfectly smooth. It's a game that's definitely worth playing, and it's also on Game Pass, so even if you don't like it and you have Game Pass, it's definitely worth picking up and trying. And at number 1 is Armored Core 6. Armored Core 6 is 100% my game of the year. This game is fun from beginning to the end. The story is fantastic. The soundtrack is out of this world. The combat scenarios are always fun. There's no tedious moments. There's no bits where it restricts you from doing what you want to do. Only a couple of levels, I would say, where you had to sneak around a little bit, but I like the fast-paced combat. The combat is tight. The hitboxes are perfect. I am gutted that they nerfed Bolteus, the first major boss that you encounter in the game, because now you go back and fight Bolteus and he's a bitch now. But Armored Core 6, nevertheless, is really good. I've done all the playthroughs to the actual final ending, and I still need to beat the final boss because he is quite a handful, but I'm trying to find the perfect build to do it. And I do like the build variety you can do in the game, swap and changing the parts on your Armored Core to suit the fight that you are engaging in. Armored Core 6 should be Game of the Year this year, but we know the Jeff Keighley show is very biased, so my personal Game of the Year is Armored Core 6, and this list is my personal list, really, whether you agree with it or not, but I would like to hear your personal lists. And before I close off, I got a couple of honourable mentions, which is Wulong Fallen Dynasty. A great game overall, but didn't succeed on what Neo 2 did in the past. It's the same creators, but Neo 2 was a far better game than Wulong Fallen Dynasty. A good game overall. PC performance was trash in the beginning. I think it's alright now. It's still a fun game overall, definitely worth picking up if you get it on sale. Another one is Warhammer 40k Bolt Gun, just balls to the wall fun and a proper boomer shooter. Another one is System Shock Remake, a game that I found very intriguing. I never played the original one, but the System Shock Remake is definitely a good game to pick up, and it was never full price, so probably worth your time, especially if you like something within that genre. So put in the comments below what your top 10s would be. I'd like to see them. I know a lot of people are going to be different to me. Like I said, this is my personal list. Everyone's got their own personal list of what their favourite games are this year, and I would like to hear them, and I'd like to hear if they're worth playing, because I'm always looking for something new to pick up and something worth my time. And that'll be it. This is a different kind of video for me, but I like to do this every now and again, just spit out about what games I like and don't like. But to be fair, there's not many games that I pick up that I don't like. I have some disappointments, but I normally play them right through. And that'll do it for me, guys. I hope you like this type of video. I would like to carry on doing these types of videos, just something different every now and again. And if you like it, press the like button, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.